Yeah. Premier on the track. Hey, yo, shout out to the NBA. What's your favorite team?
Up next, the Celtics taking on the 76ers. For the Celtics, they know each game is a test of their physical endurance and mental focus. Another challenge lies ahead. Sixers, Celtics, just moments away. Right after this, here are the five for Philadelphia. Maxey and Edgecombe man the backcourt. Then it's Joel Embiid. Then there's George. And it's Barlow in at the 4 spot. All right, on the line, we've got our insider, Shams Charania. What do you have for us, Shams?
Well, the Sixers are one of the more high-variance teams in the league. With their star veterans in PG and Embiid fully healthy, they have a chance to win the East. Without, they'll need to lean heavily on their promising young players.
They are plenty talented. Thank you, Shams. Here's Brown. The Sixers getting their last shot to go. It's stolen by Maxey. Here we go. He pulls it. George with the bucket.
The speed in transition. Paul George is dynamic in space.
Pass to Hauser from behind the arc. Brown, great positioning on the putback.
Ooh, hard work creating the second chance opportunity.
Gives us a chance to catch up with Allie LaForce.
I caught up with Coach Joe Mazzulla. I asked, what do you do about Tyrese Maxey, a guy who can spark plays out of thin air? Coach let me in on their strategy, saying, I'm trying to keep someone in front of him all night. I don't want Maxey seeing the shots he wants or the passing lanes he's looking for. It's a tough assignment, but Coach says he's got the right guys for the job. Guys, back over to you.
Appreciate the report, Allie. And Philadelphia has possession after the basket by Boston. Screen by Embiid. Oh, a clear foul there on the missed shot. So he'll get a pair at the line.
You cannot give Paul George these extra chances. This guy is deadly from the free throw line throughout his career.
That's good from George. In a lot of ways, Paul George has been the prototype of the modern swingman, Grant.
Yeah, 6'8", and with his versatile skill set, plug and play on any team. But health has been a challenge as of late. Now in his mid-30s, can he maintain that elite level?
Here's Keita. Inside. Here's Brown. And the jam by Brown.
How about a little bit of daylight is all Jaylen Brown needs, up off his feet in a hurry.
George is screen on Brown. Pass to Barlow. Outside Maxey. It's George on the wing. A shot from the high post. Yep, that one goes. George has got 6.
I love this approach. Getting him involved early, and it's already paying off.
They know that if this guy goes off, their chances of winning rise exponentially.
Now here's Tatum. Here's Keita. So it'll be 2 free throws. He was fouled in the act of shooting. Boston shooting their first free throws. First trip to the line in this one. And Grant, the Achilles tear for Jason Tatum, derailing the Celtics' attempt to defend their 2024 title.
Yeah, so hard to overcome losing your best player. Thankfully, this team has the depth to remain competitive in his absence.
And Philadelphia making a change here. Grimes is checked in.
Nothing more important than protecting the rim, folks, and that's exactly what they get.
Pass to Brown. Outside White. 6 to shoot. Back to Brown. This one for 3. Rebound by Philadelphia.
That's exactly how you have to defend him on the perimeter. Can't allow any space.
Maxey against Brown. Embiid inside. And that one good. And we may have an injury here. That does not look good.
Oh, man, that's tough. You just never like to see this in sports.
No, obviously something that, every player fears. The NBA has made player safety a priority, but injuries continue to happen.
And some changes here for the Celtics. Nikola Vucevic is checked in for Queta. Walsh comes in for Jason Tatum. And it's Peyton Pritchard in for Hauser. Here's Walsh. Here's Pritchard. And he buries his first look.
And you got to defend better than that. I mean, that's a good look for him.
That's not coming with the right mentality. The defender neither closes the space nor challenges the shot. That's frustrating as a coach, boy.
Now here's George. 6 points for him. Pass to Embiid. And a big-time jam. He slams it right over Vucevic.
Woo, that was big time. I mean, a dunk contest finish from Embiid. This guy can fly.
Pritchard against Maxey. Now here's Vucevic. Not a lot of room. And a foul called on the way up. So he'll take 2 from the free throw line. That's on Joel Embiid.
Well, when Vucevic is this active, boy, he is so dependable at drawing fouls.
And so Vucevic nails both of them. You know, Doris, the Celtics are interesting as you look at the construction of their roster. Are they poised for long-term contention?
Well, obviously, the thing paramount on everybody's mind is how they weather the Tatum injury and their salary challenges, which are significant. But if they believe they can get multiple bites in the apple, I promise you, this historic team will take their shots. Well, guys, that's what you want to see. Oubre reading and reacting to the defense, such a critical part of pick-and-roll play.
Pass to Shireman. To the wing, right side. Now here's Vucevic. Defense is right there. And it's Bona with a rebound.
And that closeout certainly made a difference.
Well, no question. He altered that shot, and most of the time, that's just as good as blocking it.
Not the tallest center in the league. He more than makes up for it with those crazy hops.
Lowry against Pritchard. 17 seconds left in the first quarter. Pass to Walsh. Now here's Vucevic. No good there. Here's Oubre. Softly drops in the floater.
How about the touch on that shot? That is tougher than it looks, folks.
And we've reached the end of the first quarter. Philadelphia on top, up by 6. And we'll return shortly. And thanks again for tuning in. If you're just joining us, we played through 1 quarter of action so far. And let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for Philadelphia.
Well, you got to be impressed with how selfless they've been so far. Their passing has been simply outstanding.
I think the other thing they've done a great job of is making their presence felt inside, converting tons of paint opportunities.
We've got Jason Tatum. Nikola Vucevic is out there with Peyton Pritchard. And it's Shireman in at the 2. That's who's in the game for the Celtics. Now here's Vucevic. Nice ball movement by Boston. 4 on the clock. There's Tatum with the 3. And it's Martin with the rebound. Philadelphia leading by 8. You know, Grant, for all his competitive nature, Tatum has a pretty calm demeanor. You appreciate that?
Yes, indeed. As a team leader, a father, a role model, and a professional, you can't ask for much better than Jason Tatum. He is the real deal.
Let's check in with Allie LaForce for an injury update on Sam Hauser.
Hi, guys. The head athletic trainer for the Celtics let me know the status. I was told it's a knee sprain. Not great news by any stretch, but luckily it wasn't anything major. He's ruled out return, and we'll just have to see how long the recovery will take.
All right, Allie, thank you. Obviously, guys, you hate to see an injury like this.
Yeah, just so tough. It comes with the territory of being a professional athlete. But yes, here's hoping he recovers soon.
Well, we're obviously hoping for a speedy recovery because we know this about this young guy. He simply loves playing the game.
Now here's Pritchard. Pass to Tatum. Beyond the arc. JT for 3.
The rise and fire by Jason Tatum, ready to catch it and score it immediately.
So Nick Nurse has decided to call timeout here. Coach probably just checking to make sure everybody's on the same page here. And Boston with some changes. Jaylen Brown comes in for Walsh, and Derek White subbed in for Shireman. George, he's checked in for Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey comes in for Martin. Fade away. Oh, and that one had the right spin on it. It's good. Embiid's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Yeah, this is what sets Embiid apart from other bigs. That mid-range game is on point.
White looking it over. Back to Pritchard. Tatum, a screen on Maxey. Pritchard finds Tatum, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Tatum. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second. Embiid, a screen on Pritchard. Maxey with it, picked up by Tatum. And Tyrese Maxey gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul of the game.
And just a great job of getting there first and absorbing the contact.
Celtics trail by 7. Time now to hear from our reporter, Allie LaForce.
Thanks, Brian. Well, the Celtics have a great 1-2 punch with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Tatum said JB always starts the game really aggressive. I'm a naturally laid-back guy. I kind of see things out first, and then I can essentially take over when I need to. We have found that balance. Back to you.
A dangerous duo. All right, Allie, appreciate the report. Here's Brown. Philadelphia getting their last shot to go. Oh, Tatum slams it home.
I love that Jason Tatum not settling for a jumper. He goes to the rim with authority.
And for the Sixers, the growth of Tyrese Maxey has meant everything, Grant.
Oh my, his growth both with his play, but also with his leadership has meant a lot. And he has such a joyful energy. It really helps pull this team together.
And Boston has possession. The Sixers getting their last shot to go. Well, Doris, when you look at the skill set Jason Tatum possesses, what specifically makes him such an elite player?
Well, if you're elite, it means you have a multi-dimensional game, and that's Jason Tatum to a T. He came in with a scoring mindset. His playmaking skills have advanced every single season. He also absorbs an enormous weight on the defensive end. This guy is elite for a reason, and it's because it's a well-rounded game.
Such an explosive athlete. Maxey saw his chance and took it right to the rim.
Outside Tatum. Pass to Keita. Shot clock at 3. Lets it go from deep. Philadelphia grabs the miss. 1:39 left in the second period. George against Tatum. Outside Maxey. It doesn't go for him. And Tatum's got the ball here for the Boston Celtics. Trailing by 10. Pass to Brown. Nice ball movement by Boston. Hey, Tatum getting it done inside.
Well, you see the effectiveness of Jason Tatum in close. Don't sleep on both his strength and his length.
George passes to Maxey. Down low. Kicks it to George. Over Tatum. Nope, that one misses. Now 3 for 5.
Well, that's surprising. This guy is a good mid-range shooter, just can't get it to go.
Pass to Pritchard. To the middle. The Celtics making a switch here. Garza is checked in. Andre Drummond is checked in for Philadelphia. Barlow comes in for Oubre. Brown inside. Soft touch off the glass. Brown's got 6 points.
Well, this is where the powerful explosive athleticism of Jaylen Brown becomes a problem for the opponent. Nicely done.
Maxey surveys. And so it's the Philadelphia 76ers leading by 6 as we wrap up the quarter. Getting lots of great looks, shooting it well. All right, good stuff, Allie. And we'll get back to the action at the start of the third quarter. Second half of basketball is upon us, and we may be in for an exciting finish based on how close of a game we've seen so far. Paul George with a strong contribution so far in this one.
Yeah, they've done an amazing job of creating room to operate for him. And then, of course, executing.
One of the things every player is after is efficiency at the offensive end. And boy, this young guy has done just that.
Second half underway. Here's who Nick Nurse has got on the floor. Maxey and Edgecombe man the backcourt. Then there's Paul George. Then it's Joel Embiid. And it's Barlow in at the power forward. And it's Tatum missing.
And he almost made them regret defending him so loosely.
Outside Maxey. Pass to George. Embiid, a screen on Brown. George passes to Embiid. Queta pulls it in. Celtics trail by 9. Here's Pritchard. Here's the 3. Knocks down the long J. Pritchard's got 5 now. Grant, you are a Hall of Fame small forward, so you know a bit about the position. What's key in excelling at the 3?
Well, BA, you have to be able to space the floor. We almost never see a 3 or even 4 who can't make 3s. And on the other end, lots of times you're matched up with quick guards.
And so it looks like it'll be Philadelphia ball. So Nick Nurse has decided to call a timeout here. He's going to take a minute to regroup with his players. Grant, the thing about Jaylen Brown, he doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off.
You know, BA, he has a quick release and rises high on his jumper. Has a great up fake and can stop on a dime. Usually all the space he needs to find his shot.
Yeah, that one's good. That's 10 points for Jason Tatum.
In a tight game, they wanted to make sure of that possession.
Pass to Edgecombe. And we're just about 2 minutes into the second half now. Back to Maxey. To the paint. Here's Embiid. Rebounded by the Celtics. Queta's got his 5th rebound in this one. Maxey against Pritchard. Pass to Tatum. Austin needs to get off a shot here. Here's Queta. No good on the triple. Philadelphia leading by 4. George scanning the floor. Maxey with a screen on Tatum. Here's George. He's off on the layup.
Well, you got to miss sometimes, but that one seemed like a gimme.
Pritchard against Maxey. And the 3 off target. The 76ers have gone only 1 for 6 here in the second half. And the jam by George.
Oh, Paul George, let him hear you with that finish. That is nicely done.
Pass to Queta. It's Brown on the wing. Here's Tatum. Brown against George. Brown passes to Queta. And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Making sure of it with the 2-hand slam, BA.
Yeah, I don't blame him. With the score this tight, you cannot take a chance here. Screen by Embiid. Pass to George. They get the rebound. Here's Barlow. It's George on the wing, defended by Brown. Philadelphia needs to get off a shot.
And just wasn't able to set up in time.
So Nick Nurse has decided to call timeout here. He might have seen something and needs to review with his guys. Well, Grant, if you had to say, is there anything you think is underrated about Embiid?
You know, B.A., I think it's his intelligence. Joel's a heady player. Sometimes big men don't get enough credit for their smarts on the court. Embiid knows the game.
Vucevic, he's checked in for Tatum. White with it. Grimes covering. Ooh, here's White on the drive. Rebound by Philadelphia. Pass to Embiid. Shoots over Tatum. That one a tad offline, but it drops in for him. Embiid's got 10 points.
Yeah, getting aggressive in the paint. Look at Joel putting his size to work.
Vucevic, a screen on Oubre. Here's Brown. And Grimes pulls it down. They've led by as much as 10. Embiid inside. Covered by Vucevic. Good. And it's an 8-point Philadelphia lead.
Come on. I mean, what can you do defensively? Embiid is pretty much impossible to guard when his jumper is on.
Pass to Vucevic. Back to Pritchard. Just 5 to shoot. And here's Brown for 3. Again, the miss by Boston. The Sixers lead by 8. We've got 33 seconds left in the third. They double team George. And the ball is tied up, so we'll have a jump ball.
Jump ball.
Six on the shot clock. Here's Embiid. And it's Jason Tatum with a rebound. The outside leaner. Good as the jump shot falls. 12 points for him.
Oh, nice bucket. This guy's so mindful about the way he attacks.
Here's George. And that's not going to go. Misses at the buzzer. And so it's Philadelphia with a 6-point lead at the close of the quarter. And now we have a moment to reveal our State Farm assist of the game.
And he definitely deserves the award. Reading the defense like a point guard.
He's got the size to survey over the top of the defense and find the open man. That was beautiful.
Well, this has been a great contest so far. I imagine the fourth quarter could have more action in store for us. They've got Peyton Pritchard. Nikola Vucevic is out there with Jason Tatum. And it's Shireman in at the shooting guard position. That's the Boston Five.
Mr. Vucevic has elite range for a big man. He will punish you from downtown if you let him.
Here's Embiid. Bucket again. 7 for 12 and going at the defense.
Boy, nice shot. He didn't need the fadeaway to create separation, though. He was wide open.
Pass to Shireman. Now here's Vucevic. Embiid covers. Vucevic in the post. Embiid's there. Vucevic's shot is off. Now here's Embiid, covered by Vucevic. Vucevic against Embiid. Shoots over Vucevic. Boston pulls it in. Tatum looking it over. Pass to Shireman. There's the triple. Joel Embiid pulls it down. Embiid's got rebound number 5 here tonight. Shireman grabs the board. Celtics trail by 5. And we're about 2 minutes into the fourth here. Puts it up from 12. Vucevic's shot is off. The 76ers have gotten just 1 shot to fall out of 3 attempts in the fourth. Grimes with the ball. Pass to Embiid. Fades. And it's Embiid again missing.
When it goes in, it looks pretty. When it doesn't, you question the shot difficulty.
Now Pritchard on the wing, Tatum. And that one's on target from the wing.
When you allow Jason Tatum to build momentum offensively, it can be a scary night.
And so it's Nick Nurse calling timeout here, looking to get everyone dialed in and engaged. And Boston with some changes. Cadis checked in for Nikola Vucevic. Jaylen Brown comes in for Walsh. And it's White in for Shireman. And the 76ers will have a different look here. Barlow's checked in for Oubre. Paul George comes in for Edwards. Edgecombe, he's checked in for Grimes. And it's Tyrese Maxey in for Lowry. All right, let's get a report from Allie.
I had a chance to find out what Nick Nurse was discussing with his players. He tried to loosen the tension a little, asking his guys, are we having fun? I know I am. Just relax out there and follow the game plan. We've got this.
Thank you for that, Allie. Tatum with a steal. And Pritchard, here we go. Oh, it's off target.
Uh-oh. Did he change his mind on the way up? I think he did.
Outside Embiid. Brown pulls down the board.
He hasn't been able to find his touch this quarter.
Well, not at the offensive end, certainly. He cannot buy a bucket right now.
George is there for the rebound.
If you're trying to make a comeback, that is the kind of shot that doesn't help.
A minute 53 left to play in the fourth quarter of this one. Outside Maxey. George sets a screen. Jacks up a three. The three ball is down.
How about the range? I mean, that's big-time, limitless range. I'll tell you, you better check him when he steps over the line.
And Joe Mazzulla calls timeout here. No doubt he's going to utilize the opportunity to make sure they're all on the same page here. Here's Tatum. Unloads from 13 feet. Cleared away by Embiid. Philadelphia leading by 8. Outside George. There's a minute 17 left in the fourth quarter. George, a screen on Pritchard. Shot clock at 5. Maxey fires. Oh, that was a gimme.
And it didn't fall, but still a great look.
You know, it can be frustrating when you make the right play and fail to reap the rewards. You just have to stay with it here.
And so it's Maxey with it. He brings it up for the 76ers. There's 42 seconds left in the game. Here's Edgecombe. Now Embiid from 15 feet away. Rejected by Brown.
I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure we can close the book on this one.
Well, it's been a hard-fought battle through much of the night. They just missed out on a couple of opportunities they'd love to do over.
Tatum. Yes, sir, with the three. And so they foul intentionally.
Boston foul. Jason Tatum. First personal foul. First team foul.
And they go to the intentional foul.
Peyton Pritchard. First personal foul. Second team foul.
He gets the first, and that increases the lead to 6.
Maxey. 2 shots.
Second one is good, getting both at the line. And it's a 7-point game.
Boy, you love to see a guy step in nice, calm, cool, and collected and knock the free throws in.
Once again, for Celtics Entertainment.
Tatum! Can't get the three. George! Yes! Locked in on the J. So it's Philadelphia picking up the win. It ends up being a fairly easy road win.
Those are so hard to come by. It's never easy to take a game in someone else's building.
And now let's swing it over to Allie LaForce, who is now with our player of the game.
Thanks so much. Paul, you dialed up the defense in this one. What were some of those adjustments?
Well, we're starting to pressure up. We're starting to use our hands. A team like that, you can't let them be comfortable. And we're doing a great job of just, taking away their airspace.
Well, the discomfort showed and led to a win for you guys. Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Allie. Great interview once again. Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. For Doris Burke, Allie LaForce, and Grant Hill, and our entire crew, this is Brian Anderson thanking you for tuning in. And let's reveal our player of the game, Paul George.